Welcome to the Hope for Today podcast. Today is day 30.
It is. It's wonderful to be back. We are crossing a really major threshold in the text today.
We really are. And I have to be honest, as I was prepping for this, reading through Exodus chapters 36, 37, and 38, I actually started laughing.
Laughing. That's not the usual reaction to detailed architectural blueprints.
No, not at the blueprints themselves, but at the problem that kicks this whole section off. It is literally the anti-problem of every project I've ever been a part of.
How do you mean?
Well, just think about it. In a modern world, or really any world, when you start a massive construction project or a charity drive, what's the number one bottleneck?
Oh, resources, always.
Yeah.
Not enough money, not enough volunteers, the timeline's too tight. Yeah.
Exactly. You're constantly scraping by, begging people to chip in. But here, right at the start of chapter 36, we run into what I'm calling the problem of too much. We're looking at a community that is so eager, so desperate to give, that the leadership actually has to step in and stop them.
It's a remarkable scene. And just to orient everyone listening, we are shifting gears significantly today. For the last few weeks, we've been in the sort of instruction phase.
Right, the blueprints.
Exactly. God gave Moses the blueprints on the mountain. But now, in chapters 36 through 38, we move into the execution phase.
The blueprints are finally becoming a building.
Precisely. We're going to see how willing hearts and skilled hands come together to build this dwelling place for God. We'll look at the specific materials, the furniture, and the incredible inventory at the end.
So let's dig into this problem of too much. It starts with the workforce. We have Bezalel and Oholiab. I still think those would be great names for a law firm.
They definitely carry some weight.
And the text says they're joined by every skilled person to whom the Lord had given ability.
I want to pause on that for a second because it's so important. The text doesn't just say they were talented. It says the Lord gave them the ability and put it in their hearts to do the work. This wasn't just, hobbyist woodworking or amateur hour. This was a divine deposit of skill for a holy purpose.
So the work begins. Moses hands over all the contributions. But here is the detail that just blew my mind. Verse 3 says, the people continued to bring freewill offerings morning after morning.
That phrase, morning after morning, it's so evocative.
It sounds like a routine, like brewing coffee in the morning.
It does, and that's what distinguishes it from, say, a one-time emotional hype. Sometimes you go to a fundraiser, there's sad music, you get emotional, write a big check. This wasn't that. This was sustained. They woke up and their first thought was, I have more to give to this house.
And it actually became a logistical nightmare. The text says the skilled workers, the guys actually trying to hammer the gold and weave the linen, they had to stop working.
They put their tools down.
They did. They went to Moses and filed a formal complaint. And the complaint was, the people are bringing more than enough.
It's the best problem a leader could ever hope for, isn't it?
Can you imagine a modern pastor or a nonprofit director getting on stage this Sunday and saying, listen, everyone, please put your wallets away. We have too much money. It's becoming annoying.
It's just unheard of.
But Moses actually has to issue a command. A literal order goes through the camp. No man or woman is to make anything else as an offering. The text says the people were restrained from bringing more.
Restrain. It implies they were holding them back at the gates. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it says so much about the heart of Israel right now. These are former slaves in a desert. Resources are finite. But the sanctuary wasn't built on a tax. It wasn't coercion. It was built on a foundation of overflow.
That really sets the tone, doesn't it? This isn't just a building project, it's an act of worship.
Exactly.
Okay, so now they have this mountain of resources, gold, silver, bronze, yarn, skins. They have to actually build the thing. Section 2 of our deep dive covers the tent and the coverings.
Yeah.
And they build from the inside out, which is interesting.
Which makes perfect sense, theologically. You start with the heart of the sanctuary, the place closest to God's presence, and you work your way outward.
The inner curtains are finely twisted linen with blue, purple, and scarlet yarn. And the text mentions cherubim.
Right.
Now, are these like painted on or stamped?
No, they're the work of a skilled craftsman, which implies they were woven directly into the fabric. Think about the difficulty of that. This is high-end tapestry work. Weaving complex figures of angels into linen with that kind of precision, it's functional art.
And the engineering to hold it together is pretty interesting, too. It wasn't just one giant tarp thrown over a pole.
No, that would be way too heavy to move. They made curtains, joined 5 together, then another 5. And to connect these 2 massive sections, they used 50 loops on the edge of each set. And the fasteners. 50 gold clasps.
Gold clasp. That seems, well, pretty expensive for a glorified button.
It is. But notice the language. It says they fastened the two sets so that the tabernacle was a unit.
Ah, one cohesive whole.
Exactly. And because this is the inner layer, the ceiling of the holy place, the material has to be gold. It reflects the glory.
But as we move outward, the materials change. It's almost like a degradation of value the further you get from the center.
Or a shift in function. The next layer is the tent over the tabernacle made of goat hair. 11 curtains this time. And notice the clasps.
I missed that. What were they?
For the inner linen, they used gold. For these goat hair curtains, one layer removed, verse 18 says they made 50 bronze clasps.
Oh, wow. So we go from gold to bronze as we move away from the presence.
Yes, it's a gradation of holiness, gold for the immediate presence, bronze for the outer layers and for protection.
They essentially built a prefab cathedral that could be packed up and moved.
It really is. Designed to be transient, yet when it stands solid.
Okay, so the tent is pitch, the structure is solid, now we need to furnish it. Chapter 37. And we see Bezalel getting very hands-on with the most holy objects.
The Ark of the Covenant.
The famous ark, acacia wood overlaid with pure gold inside and out. But I want to focus on the lid, the atonement cover or the mercy seat.
This is the holiest object in the entire religion of Israel. This is the very footstool of God.
The text gets so specific here. It says Bezalel made 2 cherubim out of hammered gold at the ends of the cover. But then it adds this phrase, he made them of one piece with the cover.
That phrase of one piece is the miracle of craftsmanship here.
Explain that to me, because in my head I'm thinking, okay, you make a gold slab, cast a gold angel, solder it on. That seems easier.
That is how a modern manufacturer would do it, assemble the parts. But that's not what Bezalel did. He took a massive talent of pure gold, one lump, and he began to hammer it.
Just one piece.
One piece. He didn't add material, he moved it. He beat the gold until the angels emerged from the same piece as the cover.
That sounds incredibly high risk. I mean, one wrong hit with the hammer.
And you ruin the whole thing. Or you snap a wing off and you can't just glue it back. It implies that the cherubim and the mercy seat are inseparable. Chemically, physically, they are one unit.
And he does the same thing with the lampstand, doesn't he? The menorah.
Yes. Verse 17. He hammered out its base and shaft, and the flower-like cups, buds, and blossoms were all of one piece with it.
And that design is so intricate. Almond flowers, buds. I mean, to get that from a single block of gold without welding seems impossible.
It symbolizes life, organic growth, and again, unity. It's not an assembly of parts screwed together. It is a singular, unified work of glory. It speaks to the oneness of God and his light.
We also have the table for the bread, acacia wood and gold, and the altar of incense.
And the text notes that the incense altar was distinct from the big bronze altar outside. This one was small, square, gold. It engages the sense of smell. Worship here was visual, tactile, and olfactory.
So we have the tent, the furniture inside. Now, chapter 38, we move outside to the courtyard, and the color palette shifts again.
Right. As we step out of the tent, the gold pretty much disappears. We are now in the realm of bronze.
And we see the altar of burnt offering. This is the big barbecue pit, essentially. 5-cubit square, overlaid with bronze. All the utensils, shovels, meat forks, fire pans, all of it, bronze.
It had to be robust. This is where the fire burned continuously. Gold is too soft for that kind of heat and heavy use. Bronze is tough. It can handle the judgment, the fire, the sacrifice.
Then we get to verse 8. And I'll be honest, if you're speed reading through Exodus, you miss this. But this might be my favorite detail in the entire section.
The bronze basin.
The laver, the place for washing. Listen to this from verse 8. They made the bronze basin and its bronze stand from the mirrors of the women who served at the entrance to the tent of meeting.
It's a stunning detail.
Okay, hold on. When we say mirrors, we aren't talking about glass like we have today, right? If I drop my mirror, it shatters.
Correct. Glass mirrors didn't exist yet. In ancient Egypt, and in this context, mirrors were highly polished discs of bronze. You would buff the metal until it was reflective enough to see your face.
So these women had these personal, probably very valuable, polished bronze mirrors.
Extremely. And think about what a mirror represents. It's about self. It's about image. How do I look? It is, by its very definition, an instrument of self-reflection.
And here, they give them up.
They surrender them. And look at what Bezalel does. He doesn't just hang them up as decoration. He melts them down. He repurposes them into the basin that holds the water for cleansing.
So the priests would use this water to wash their hands and feet before approaching God.
Exactly. The very metal that was once used to admire one's own face is now used to cleanse oneself for service to the Holy One.
From vanity to purity.
From looking at me to preparing to meet him.
That's profound.
Yeah.
It's such a picture of redemption, taking our self-focus and turning it into a tool for worship.
It really is. And it shows that nothing is too worldly or vain, that God cannot transform it if it is surrendered to him.
Moving on from the basin, the text gives us the dimensions of the courtyard. It was huge, 100 cubits long.
And it was defined by these curtains of finely twisted linen. So from the outside, you would see this white linen fence, effectively.
And the posts holding it up sat on bronze bases. But interestingly, the hooks and the bands on the posts were silver. So you have bronze on the ground, silver at the top.
It creates a visual distinction. And again, notice the bronze tent pegs. Everything that anchors the structure to the earth, the bases, the pegs, is bronze.
Now, we're running out of time, but we have to touch on section 5, the audit. Chapter 38 ends with, well, a spreadsheet.
I love that the Bible includes this. It shows this wasn't some secret operation. There was transparency. The inventory was recorded by the Levites under the direction of Ithamar, Aaron's son.
It's a full accounting. Let's look at the gold. The total amount was 29 talents and 730 shekels. Can you put that in perspective for us? How much gold is that?
A talent is roughly 75 pounds, so 29 talents. We are talking over a ton of gold.
A ton of gold for a group of refugees in a desert.
It is. Remember, they plundered the Egyptians on the way out, but now they are investing that wealth into the tabernacle.
And then the silver, 100 talents and 1,775 shekels. But the text tells us exactly where this silver came from. It wasn't just random donations like the gold, was it?
No, and this is crucial for understanding the theology of the building. This silver came from the census, the bika, or half shekel per person.
Right, every man 20 years or older had to pay this ransom for his life. All 603,550 men.
So this silver represents the very lives of the people. It's redemption money. And look at how it was used. The text is so specific. The 100 talents of silver were used to cast the 100 silver bases for the sanctuary frames.
Wait, so the heavy silver blocks we talked about earlier, the foundation that holds up the wall.
They were made from the census money.
That gives me chills. So the very foundation, the feet of the structure, is literally the ransom of the people.
Exactly. The dwelling place of God stands on the redeemed lives of his people. The structure is physically supported by the community.
It's not just a building paid for by a few wealthy donors.
No, every single man has a stake in the foundation.
And the remaining silver, the 1,775 shekels.
Made the hooks and bands for the posts, so the connection points that hold up the curtains are also made of that redemption money.
And finally, the bronze, 70 talents and 2,400 shekels.
Used for the tent pegs, the altar, the bases at the entrance. It's just a meticulous record. It shows that God cares about the details. He cares about every loop, every clasp, every kilogram of metal. Nothing was wasted.
It really has been quite a journey today. We started with a problem of too much generosity. We walked through a tent held together by gold spines and silver foundations. We saw craftsmanship that hammered solid gold into angels.
And we saw mirrors turned into basins.
That's the one that's going to stick with me.
It should. It's a powerful reminder for you listening today. God can take the things we use for ourselves, our talents, our resources, even things that seem driven by vanity or self-interest, and he can transform them. If we surrender them, like those women surrendered their mirrors, he can repurpose them into something holy for his service.
A mirror of self becoming a basin of grace.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Well, thank you for guiding us through the blueprints and the bullion today. It really turns a list of materials into a meaningful story.
It was my pleasure.
And that was it for Day 30. Meet you on Day 31 tomorrow.